Today's Union Pacific line over Tennessee Pass and through the Royal Gorge was started in Pueblo, Colorado in 1879 as a narrow gauge railroad. In 1890, the line was standard gauged and is essentially the same railroad we see today. The former Denver and Rio Grande Railroad line is considered to be one of the most scenic routes in the United States, yet one of the most expensive to operate and maintain. Its days as a busy main line appear to have ended, as new owner Union Pacific has received approval to close the line. During this program, we'll look at present operations and take a glimpse back at the history of the line. We begin our visit to Colorado at the busy location of Dotsero, where the Royal Gorge route via Tennessee Pass meets the Moffett Tunnel line to Denver. This is the junction of what was the Rio Grande's two east-west main lines through the Rockies. This hot trailer train is turning onto the Moffett line as it heads east toward Denver. Most of the traffic is routed over this lower gradient line, especially going east. Amtrak's train number 5, the California Zephyr, is passing through the junction as a westbound freight waits its turn, having traveled the Eagle River route from Minturn. Once the Zephyr is in the clear, the westbound continues toward Grand Junction, Colorado. This Burlington Northern Santa Fe freight is stopping at Dotsero, waiting for an opening to continue west over Union Pacific trackage. Merchandise trains other than this one may be a thing of the past soon, with Union Pacific's plan to consolidate train traffic onto its northern route through Wyoming. Remaining will be only a few coal trains from the Craig branch, Amtrak trains number 5 and 6, and this Burlington Northern train, which has trackage rights between Denver and Salt Lake City, as compensation for the Southern Pacific and Union Pacific merger. This eastbound empty auto rack train is headed for Tennessee Pass en route to Pueblo. Its days are surely numbered. Besides the two main lines joining here, the Eagle River flows into the Colorado River at Dotsero. Dotsero is at milepost 341.9 from Denver on the old main line via Tennessee Pass. After the BNSF train gets a green signal, it heads west at this busy junction. The section of track next to us was added from Dotsero to Bond to connect with the Denver and Salt Lake Railroad once the Rio Grande purchased the Denver and Salt Lake in 1931. The Rio Grande finally had its easier route through the Rockies, yet the Tennessee Pass route continued to survive until the present. Completing our busy visit to Dotsero is the eastbound California Zephyr headed toward Denver. Now let's leave Dotsero and begin our video journey that will take us over 180 miles to Canyon City. Although we will be viewing trains going both east and west, our program will be progressing eastward through a variety of locations. This means that some westbound trains may be out of order when there are multiple shots of the same trains. Heading east on the Tennessee Pass line, we see that empty auto rack train that we saw at Dotsero. It is on the outskirts of Eagle, Colorado. The tracks follow the Eagle River and Interstate 70 eastward toward Minturn. This area is building up rapidly with condos and ski resorts. This train is heading west near Eagle and is the train we saw at the Dotsero Junction. We'll see this train again just east of here at the Red Cliffs and east of Wolcott along the Eagle River. This westbound is departing Minturn, Colorado after a crew change that will take them to Grand Junction. We see the train at the crossing and again at the yard. Today, with Union Pacific recently having acquired the Southern Pacific, which owned the old Rio Grande, we are seeing a wide variety of subsidiary motive power. The older SD40s and other conventional cab diesels appear regularly, but the newest and most powerful AC traction locomotives are dominant. In 1995, SP took delivery of the AC 4400 CW units from General Electric that produce 4,400 horsepower. Union Pacific is operating many of the new SD9043 MAC units, which are the new 4,300 horsepower convertibles. They will eventually be converted to 6,000 horsepower units once the new engines for them become available. We'll be viewing quite a few of the UP and SP wide cabs, plus a few others along the way. These helper units are arriving in Minturn, which is their base. This 4-unit set of helpers is called swing helpers and are usually placed in the mid-train region of eastbound trains, assaulting the 3% grade to the summit of Tennessee Pass. Minturn has been a vital helper station on the railroad since the line reached here in 1890. The town still retains the flavor of a working-class railroad town, but that is changing as the town is now being influenced by the nearby ski resort of Aspen. While downgraded from the busy days of steam locomotive helpers, the railroad still maintains a crew base and hotel here, along with various pieces of work equipment. The need for a helper station is evident as the railroad travels through the Eagle River Canyon at a 3% steady climb toward the summit of Tennessee Pass, 22 miles to the east. A fresh crew is awaiting an eastbound train, and we see a coal train heading into Minturn from two camera positions. This coal train has 3 units up front and 3 units as pushers that were added at Glenwood Springs. Here at Minturn, the train will add the swing helpers in the middle, making a 10-unit train. Combined, these 10 units produce over 43,000 horsepower. Once the helpers are cut into the rear portion of the train, they pull forward and will eventually couple to the front portion of the train and head east. Here's the same eastbound coal train heading into the Eagle Canyon west of Belden, complete with mid-train helpers and rear pushers. This westbound is just west of Belden as it heads downgrade toward Minturn. There are rear pushers acting as helpers on the rear. Although not seen, the train is close to Rock Creek Tunnel, deep in the Eagle River Canyon. The remains of the once thriving mining town of Gilman sit upon Battle Mountain, high above the railroad and the Eagle River Canyon. Gilman was the company town for the Empire Zinc Company's Eagle Mine, which closed in the early 1980s. The prospects for reopening look dim, especially if the mine loses its rail connection. Loading was done far below at track level, where we see our eastbound coal train working its way past the mining area known as Belden. The train will enter Belden Tunnel beneath our location. Here's a look at the Belden Tunnel as our earlier westbound exits the 396-foot bore. This shot was made from a precarious, lofty perch above Belden. East of Belden, we see the same train that we just viewed at Belden Tunnel. There are two tracks in this area, which is Belden siding, all that remains of what was once double track from Minturn to Pando before centralized traffic control signaling was completed in 1958. This location is just west of Red Cliff as we see a helper set returning to Minturn under the Highway 24 bridge. This location with the rock cliffs is near the west end of Pando siding. Getting good shots with sun here proved to be difficult, but we felt it was still an area worth showing. This location is east of Pando at the site that was once the U.S. Army's Camp Hale, used for training soldiers during World War II. This eastbound mixed freight is grinding up the 3% grade with mid-train helpers. In a few moments, the train will pierce the Pando Tunnel, which is also referred to as Dean Tunnel. This shot of the coal train is just west of Mitchell. It should be noted that on a normal day during our visit, we would average approximately 5 to 6 trains per day to photograph during daylight, which meant that chasing some trains was mandatory. With 2 camera crews, some chasing, and relatively decent weather, we were able to cover a wide variety of action and locations. The coal train is passing through the S-curve at Mitchell, which is a great location for viewing trains right off the highway. Here are a couple of other trains taken from different angles with morning sunshine. This train is about to enter the west portal of the Tennessee Pass Tunnel, which is the summit of Tennessee Pass. This eastbound is entering the west portal of Tennessee Pass Tunnel. The original tunnel was constructed with timber lining and was 2,577 feet long. During 1944 and 1945, the Rio Grande built a new 2,550-foot concrete-lined tunnel 50 feet south of the original. The Tennessee Pass is crested here at 10,212 feet, making it the highest elevation of any active freight railroad in North America. This view of Tennessee Pass is just east of the tunnel as a loaded auto train sits in the siding waiting for the empty eastbound auto rack train to pass. The Rio Grande once maintained a quaint depot at this lonely outpost, but today all that remains is the tunnel and a passing siding. Swing helpers will cut off their eastbound trains here and return light to Minturn. Sometimes rear pushers on coal trains will continue further east and assist a westbound ore train or manifest, like we saw in the Eagle Canyon. This westbound is working hard with some older units as it heads for a meet at the west end of the Tennessee Pass siding. After the train clears, the eastbound departs Tennessee Pass. A rather clean Rio Grande unit is on this train, a fond reminder of the railroad's past heritage. A few miles east of the pass is a lovely area where Highway 24 crosses the railroad, and the beautiful snow-capped peaks form a picturesque setting. Here are some scenes with different trains at this location, beginning with our 5-unit train working upgrade that we saw at Tennessee Pass. Then we'll see a couple of eastbound mixed freights with the snow-capped mountains in the early morning. East of these snowcaps is the town of Malta, where the Rio Grande line had a branch to the mines at Leadville a few miles away. Our next scene is just east of Malta as we see a pan shot of a loaded eastbound coal train with Colorado's two highest mountains in the background. Mount Massive is on the right and is 14,421 feet high, only to be outdone by Mount Elbert, which is 14,433 feet high. The main highway crosses the railroad east of Malta, and a westbound taconite ore train is approaching, with 2 units leading, 2 in the middle, and 2 more pushing. The second unit in the middle, SP-239, is smoking heavily. The mid-train units and rear pushers are remotely controlled by the engineer in the lead unit of the train. The train comes from Minturn on the Duluth-Mesabi and Iron Range Railroad, destined for the Geneva Steelworks in Provo, Utah. East of Kobe, the railroad is following the Arkansas River, which it traces all the way to Canyon City. There are plenty of scenic locations to view the railroad, as the highway follows the river canyon also. This overlooked location is between Granite and Princeton. It's a great place to view trains, especially westbounds that are working upgrade. Next, we see a train with a Chicago and Northwestern unit, which appears to be hauling U.S. Army containers. After it passes, we'll see a pair of SP units pulling an empty coal train. This next location features a bridge over the Arkansas River and a horseshoe curve. It is just a couple of miles east of the overlook and west of Princeton Siding. This train is just about to reach the west end of Princeton Siding. Across the river, the old roadbed of the Colorado Midland Railroad is visible. A westbound merchandise is seen at Princeton Siding in the early evening. This train is led by a Union Pacific SD40-2. There is also a Norfolk Southern wide cab helping out, which is one of the newest units, having been delivered early in 1997. Norfolk Southern's first batch of wide cabs was delivered in 1996, and these newer versions are easily recognizable since they have the broken white stripes along the walkway on the sides. A herd of deer doesn't seem to be bothered by the freight in the background. We're a few miles east of Princeton as the same freight passes by at last light. This remote location is Americus. where we see an eastbound passing a westbound in the siding. A westbound train with rear pushers is passing through Buena Vista, Colorado. This train is loaded with coking coal and comes from Conrail in Pennsylvania and is headed for the Geneva Steelworks near Provo, Utah. We are now 101 miles east of Dotsero and 80 miles from Canyon City. It is the second largest city on the line, yet there is no siding at Buena Vista. A westbound freight with a Union Pacific unit and a CSX unit is at the west end of Nathrop and about to cross the Arkansas River with the last sun of the day. This location is Hecla Junction in Browns Canyon as we watch rafters on the Arkansas River. Hecla Junction is where the Rio Grande once had a branch to the Calumet mine. The branch was built in 1881 and removed in 1923. The C&W-led train we saw at the overlook earlier is seen across the river. This eastbound is leaving Browns Canyon at a location near the west switch of the siding called Brown Canyon. This westbound auto train is at the east switch of the Brown Canyon siding. It is symbol AHNOA 16, running from Harrington, Kansas to Oakland, California, with new automobiles. This westbound train is passing through Salida, Colorado, which was founded by the Denver and Rio Grande in April of 1880. The town was a major steam center, complete with 2 roundhouses and steam locomotive backshop. After the main line was standard gauge, Salida Yard remained dual gauge, as narrow gauge lines ran south and west toward Marshall Pass and Alamosa. The backshop closed after narrow gauge and steam operations ended here in 1956. All that is left of the extensive locomotive service area is a portion of the shop complex, which is used today as a lime facility. West of Wellsville, we see a weed spray train. With the possible termination of this line, this could well be the last one of these weed spray trains to operate along the Arkansas River. Let's enjoy a variety of trains along this scenic section of the Arkansas River. This UP led eastbound is east of Texas Creek, headed for Pueblo. Our next scene is the same location taken a couple of days later of a westbound empty coal train making good time with a pair of SP units. Let's continue east with SP 260 leading a coal train toward the Royal Gorge. This location is at Parkdale, where Highway 50 crosses the Arkansas River and the railroad. Track crews are bringing equipment from the Royal Gorge back to Parkdale siding, clear for our coal train with SP 260. Parkdale is the last place you can access before the Royal Gorge, unless you hike in or take a raft trip. From high above the Arkansas River, we see the Royal Gorge from the Royal Gorge Bridge. Construction through the Royal Gorge began in 1878 by the Santa Fe Railway, and the first passenger train operated on May 7, 1879 to Texas Creek. The battle between the Rio Grande and the Santa Fe was bitter until a settlement was reached in 1880, whereby Santa Fe ultimately crossed the Rockies further south over Raton Pass. The future is indeed uncertain for this rail line. The rails will more than likely remain for 1 year per Union Pacific's abandonment agreement. And during that 1 year, perhaps other companies may step in to save portions of the route. However, if 1997 is indeed the final year of the big mainline show of trains over this route, we can at least have these video memories of Tennessee Pass and the Royal Gorge route.